All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And real quick, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to you guys, and I wanted to say thank you very much for being oh so generous in the comment section in the last video, because I asked you guys for some help in terms of some of your M4 classes, and you guys were very, very generous in order to give me a few of your classes. So I just wanted to say thank you very, very much, and it definitely was a big help, and it was very enjoyable. And it's, again, being a very enjoyable experience, just kind of trying out some of these different classes, because the creative class system in this game is I mean, it keeps on surprising me. That's all I'm gonna say. Maybe I can make it a separate video talking about that, but we got another video to talk about today, and it is an important one because we are just under 6 weeks away or so from season 3 in XDefiant, and we're going to talk about the expectations and how the devs actually really need to deliver, because we have gotten to a point now with XDefiant to where even the most devoted XDefiant fans, the most devoted XDefiant players, even the most devoted XDefiant content creators or streamers, right? We are starting to feel the repetitiveness of the game, so to speak, right? And we're starting to feel it more than ever. And when you're looking at your average XDefiant player, for instance, there's at least one comment a day to where I hear people saying that they've either put the game down because it's become too repetitive, or that they put the game down until season 3 launches, when all these features and certain expectations are met for the game, right? Like by the time season 3 launches, the game is gonna feel a lot more. How do I put this? It's gonna feel a lot more complete, right? It's gonna feel like a full release game, as opposed to, you know, a demo that turned into a better demo, and then a slightly better demo, and then all of a sudden now we've got, like, you know, or should I say a beta, so to speak? Excuse me. I was thinking single player games for some reason. So with that being said, that's what I want to talk about today, because season 3 can't just be a copy and paste of what they did with seasons 1 and 2. And what I mean by that is, in season 1 and season 2, we've got the regular old content like they mentioned in the roadmap, right? We saw that. But season 3 is rumored and leaked to have certain features, and a handful of them, that are supposed to be, you know, in the game at season 3. And these are features that have been long requested by the community, and these are features that are also in other first-person shooters, or just other shooters in general, with their own take on them. And XDefiant is going to be bringing it, because one of the biggest complaints from a lot of the community, as mentioned, is basically that there's nothing to do. This isn't 2004 anymore, to where people can play endlessly for fun. And the reason being is because it's been 20 years since console online multiplayer shooters have, you know, since the birth of that time, right? It's been 20 years, and quite frankly, there has to be more sustenance now. We've built up a tolerance to it, so therefore we need a bigger dose, and that dose comes in the form of different features within the game that enhance the gameplay elements. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So now, obviously, the one that is pretty much like the elephant in the room here is prestige, right? The XDefiant needs its own prestige system. We know it's coming. We know there really hasn't been that much talk about prestige. All we know that the only thing we know is that it's going to be more like a traditional prestige system. But with that being said, when there's prestige, there's also challenges, right? Like when you've got one, you have to have the other. And players have been asking for all sorts of different challenges. Now, it's great and all to be able to level up and to level up your weapon by getting kills and stuff like that. The beauty of it is you don't have to change your playstyle or anything like that. However, when you give players challenges and things to do with rewards behind them, they feel like they're getting a sense of accomplishment. It's another way to release extra dopamine. It's not just, you know, the same old anymore. So when you add something new in there, and when you add a new recipe into the mix, it can make that difference. And the next thing I want to talk about is something that is probably going to come maybe in season 4. And if it comes any earlier than that, I'd be surprised. But this was said to be an in-game currency system. Now, when you're talking about an in-game currency system, not only you're talking about in-game rewards, but you're also talking about like a wager system. You're also talking about contracts, right? Like similar contracts to Black Ops 1, but obviously XDefiant could put their own take on it. So imagine a system to where you have a prestige system going on, so you're leveling up that way with challenges, and then you've got additional challenges in the form of contracts, or whatever they're going to be calling XDefiant, and of course the ability and the option to kind of, you know, wager, you know, ask another player on the other team if they wanted to wager, you know, a few of their, you know, currency that they've earned in game or whatnot. So that way players can get a bonus for when they win the match. You know what I mean? So that way, you know, there's they can get richer or maybe save up more money or something like that. Again, all these little things, although they are, when you look at the entire picture, they may seem like something small, but they actually make the biggest difference in the game. Now, one big thing that I've mentioned that will help XDefiant a lot, and it's all about timing as well, is that this game needs to release on Steam in Season 3. I've mentioned that in a separate video before, and I still stay true to that. It needs to release on Steam, and with these features that are said to be coming in Season 3, I think it'll be a perfect time for them to do so. There's other games that are coming out at there's other games that have been released on Steam that weren't there before, and Ubisoft is going to release additional games on Steam that weren't there before either, including upcoming releases, according to what I've read in articles. So for XDefiant to be left out of this, I think is a big, big mistake. Because again, the vast majority of PC players, or even, and it doesn't matter if they're mouse and keyboard players or not, they prefer Steam. They want Steam. They don't like Ubisoft Connect or whatever the hell the thing is, I mean, it's 70% of something is better than 0% of nothing. Put the game out on Steam. And on top of that, we'll also have a much better idea as far as PC side of things is concerned, what the player count of the game is, right? And we'll see whether the game is progressing or regressing, and then we can kind of keep up with that. And at the same time, we can also respectfully push, add some respectful pressure to the devs and to the publishers more than anything to suggest things that will increase the player count, because player count is what counts, and obviously the store itself as well, which is another thing they need to add is they need to add the option, right? They need to add the damn option for you to be able to gift something in store to other people. Cosmetics for me are completely worthless. However, I know that's not the case for, so many other players out there. So let's say for you guys, right? What if I was to give, what if I was, to give you guys like some cosmetics or something like that, right? To gift you guys cosmetics, or somebody that's on my friends list, or somebody that's, been doing a great job moderating my streams or something like that, right? Or whatever reason, right? That option needs to be there, and I'm actually surprised that it hasn't been there from the very get-go. And on top of that, the game also needs to be marketed better. That is one of the things that even Mark Rubin has mentioned, like, how do you release a game and not market it very well? Well, at the same time, when you market it, you want to make sure that there's plenty of sustenance in the game, and I think that's where Season 3 is going to come in. So, because you can't just play the same old song and dance to where you're going to release your 3 new maps, 3 new weapons, and that's it. You're gonna drip feed us maps and stuff like that. There needs to be additional sustenance into the game to keep people coming back and playing time and time again. And when you have your most devoted fans of the game starting to say that the game feels damn repetitive and they're playing less and less because of it, that is definitely one of the bigger signs, and it is something that needs to be addressed. And Season 3 is going to be the thing that addresses that. It's going to be the first step in addressing that, because at this point there's just been there's been a lot of foundational improvements that have been made, and ones that will continue to be made as the game goes on. However, the game is not going to go on if you don't have players to play. You know what I mean? How are you going to have XDefiant without players, right? The players make the game, they drive the game, and that's the way it should be. So this is what the devs need to do. And it all comes from ideas from the players. And we're not just talking about the pros. We're not just talking about the people that are in testing in the game. You're talking about the entire community. I remember, I think it was Nightfall, made a video talking about how, give the most devoted players and or content creators or something like that, with early access to, features such as the upcoming private matches or maybe the upcoming prestige and stuff like that. So that way they can get feedback from the community as well as their own feedback. And therefore, when it officially releases for everybody in the game, it'll be better off, as opposed to something that you're going to consistently have to, take a step back and fix, right? You're not going to be tossing something in and hope it sticks, right? You're going to know for sure that it's going to stick. So therefore, when you release it, it's never going to have to be a worry again, and you're just going to be able to build off of the foundation that the players have given you feedback on. So I think that would be a very smart move. I think it makes sense financially. I think it makes sense just in general. Let's see what else. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention, and of course, yes, private matches. They're supposed to be coming out in beta form in sometime within this season, so that may very well be a reality. But in Season 3, they're supposed to be out of beta, right? And private matches are not just for competitive or pro players. They are also for content creators and streamers. They are also for even people that just want to mess around with very specific settings with a group of friends, right? Now, and this was something that I even underestimated, but, when you actually look back and you actually look at the potential that you can create from private matches, I mean, it is something that can actually create events that could actually happen in game as well, because the devs monitor everything, right? So basically what's going to happen after that is if they see that people are creating this particular private match and everybody's loving it and all that kind of stuff, it could be something that they can add into the game as a featured playlist. And of course, when you're talking about all the other things like the currency system, the prestige system, and additional weapons and maps that are going to be coming out and stuff like that, it's only going to continue to improve the game. However, at this point right now, because players are becoming increasingly, less and less patient, because they're really starting to feel the repetitiveness, and that includes the most devoted players. Season 3, I think, is the most important season specifically for that alone, because that is something that they need to address now, because they know that they can't just keep playing the same song and dance. They have to add additional substance. They have to market their game better. They need to release it on Steam. They need to have certain features in a game that every single type of shooter of this kind needs to have. And I think it'll be perfect timing if they manage to do that. And I personally think that they've been working really hard at it, so that way they can release it at the beginning of season 3, which is said to be coming 1 week before Christmas, which it will be a hell of a gift. And with most people going on break, it will also be the perfect timing for XDefiant to be played a lot more, for that player base to increase. And on top of that, if they manage to get their head out of their asses and convince Ubisoft to release the damn thing on Steam, I think you got a win-win situation, because you've got your content in there, you got reasons for people to come back to play. It's a brand new season, a brand new netcode, additional features here and there, plus the release on Steam and stuff like that. Hey, you got a win-win situation. And then of course you've got other things coming up, like the leaderboards and the combat record, which we've already made separate videos about that here. And those are only things that are going to enhance the game. I personally don't think there needs to be a lobby leaderboard, because I think a lot of players will be intimidated by some player stats and will cause them to leave. You know what I mean? So, and of course, the lobbies disbanding need to stop as well. So basically, those are the features that I think that I can remember off the top of my head that really need to make it into season 3, and preferably at the very beginning of season 3, because again, people's patience are running out here, folks. So, but with that being said, if there's something that I missed that needs to be in the game at season 3, please feel free to let it be known down below, because I do know that there are devs that watch my stuff, which is an absolute privilege. So therefore, let's help make the game better. So please fill in the blanks as best you can. And as always, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.